What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is your boy Yarn Craig, and today I'm looking at these WNBA All-Star reserves and players who I think potentially were snubbed from this roster. But before I get to it, go ahead, like and subscribe. Take a moment, please. Appreciate it. So let's look at this team of reserves really quick. I did another video where I talked about the All-Star starters, so I'm not really going to touch on them. So getting right to the reserves, we have Ariel Atkins from the Mystics. This is her second year making the All-Star team. Kalia Copper, her second All-Star selection. Skylar Diggins-Smith, her sixth. Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream, the rookie sensation, makes her first All-Star selection in her first year as a pro. Jewel Lloyd from the Storm. Arika Agumwale makes her second. Courtney Vandersloot makes her fourth. Dearica Hamby makes her second. Natasha Howard makes her second. Brianna Jones from the Connecticut Sun makes her second. Emma Messerman makes her second. Alyssa Thomas makes her third. Looking at this list, I don't really have too many quips and qualms about it. Brianna Jones making this team from the Connecticut Sun is really impressive, especially coming off the bench. She's not starting this year. Coming off the bench as an all-star. If the WNBA ever expands, it's like, hey, she's one of those players that could do some damage, as a starter, So it's just such a talent condensed league. It's like when you got players coming off the bench making the all-star game, that says something right there. I really hope the WNBA does expand at some point. Alyssa Thomas, well-deserved. Natasha Howard, well-deserved. Dearica Hamby, I'm not gonna lie, I was on the fence about her for a minute, but when I really looked at her overall production and what she brings to the game, she's literally like that all-star glue type player where she just kind of does a little bit of everything on the floor. She just knows where to be. She's in the right spot. She knows when to cut. She knows when to run the break. She gets rebounds. She hustles. Every team in the WNBA wants a Dearica Hamby on their roster. Courtney Vandersloot is probably the best pure point guard in the WNBA. Arika Agumwale is one of the coldest one-on-one players in the WNBA. Jewel Lloyd, solid pick. Ryan Howard, rookie sensation. I think she definitely deserves to be here. Skylar Diggins, she's the only thing really giving the Phoenix Mercury a little a pulse right now. Kalia Copper and Ariel Atkins. I went in reverse on this list. I went from front court to back court just because these two right here, these are the two that kind of make me sit back and go, a little bit. So Kalia Copper is the lesser of the case because she at least has a player of the week honor to her name for the season. My only quip with her really is that she hasn't played as many games as some of the other all-stars. So some of her numbers may not quite line up as far as like total points, rebounds, assists, and whatnot. But it's just because she has not played as many games because she started the season late after coming back from overseas. Ariel Atkins is solid. I have no issues with her as a player. I think she's a very, very, very good WNBA player. But Kelsey Mitchell from the Indiana Fever is not on this list, and that is blasphemous. If there was just one change out I just had to make, Kelsey Mitchell would be on this list because she's averaging 19 points, 4 assists per game. And at that 19 points, that puts her at fourth best in the WNBA. So I don't understand how she did not get selected as a reserve. The only thing that could really be held against her is that her team is dead last in the WNBA, but they have a very young team, and it has nothing to do with her, the reason why they're dead last in the WNBA. Her numbers are pretty solid all around. But that's the biggest snub that I see on this list. I honestly was a little questionable about Messerman and Dearica Hamby, especially when I didn't see Elena Delle Donne on the list. But it was kind of the same thing with Kalia Copper. She hasn't played that many games. She's kind of been in and out the lineup. Hasn't been ultra consistent. Not putting up the Elena Delle Donne numbers that we're used to just seeing, like, dominant. She's averaging 15 points and I think 6 or 7 rebounds a game. So it's not bad, but when you look at those raw numbers, it's like, okay, yeah, she should be on this list over Messerman as a big. But since she does not have the games played, I would give Messerman the edge. Even though Messerman's averaging like 12 and 7, her efficiency numbers are ridiculous. ridiculous, ridiculous. And she's a big part of what the surging Chicago Sky are doing. But those are probably two of the bigger ones. I saw an interview on Twitter where Natasha Cloud was saying she felt like she should have been an All-Star. And she may have a little bit of a gripe. And I'm not going to be the hater. I'm not going to be the hater because I kind of touched on this in the other All-Star video I did. But if Sue Bird made the team, you know, Natasha Cloud probably could have made this roster because Sue Bird, she's having a decent year, but she's not having an All-Star caliber year. Natasha Cloud's at least, she's leading the WNBA in assists. So as the primary playmaker, I think it would have been, you know, good to have her here. And she's averaging double digits in points too. So she's like 11-7 on the year. Her shooting numbers are not that great, but I'm not going to be that guy. Sue Bird's a legend. This is her swan song season. I'm not saying I'm done. But Natasha Cloud could be, if she was there, then Natasha Cloud could be there. But and the same thing really goes with Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces, their other guard. The other four starters from the Aces are on the squad. Chelsea Gray was honestly good enough to be an All-Star. She's averaging 6 assists per game. So, you know, and 12 points on the best team in the WNBA. So being honest, it's just, there's just such a, that guard position is just so concentrated with talent and it's hard to break through. But she honestly was probably good enough to really, she's probably good enough to play in this game for sure. I think she's played well enough this season, but it's just not enough spaces to go around. I don't see who I take her off for. I don't take Copper off, Diggins Smith, Ryan Howard, Jewel Lloyd, Arike Agambale. So she's one of those people, I guess she was borderline All-Star caliber this year, even though she could have been there. That would have been crazy to see 5 Las Vegas Aces player on the squad. But we got 3 Connecticut Sun players in total, 4 Chicago Sky players, and 4 Las Vegas Aces players playing in an All-Star game, that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. But that's my video, guys. Tell me what you think about the reserves that made the squad, and tell me who you think your snubs were for this WNBA All-Star game. That's my video, though, guys. Peace.